turning pages, night turning days. I'm tired of waiting. I gotta make it.
So for you, right, like let's say you're the general manager, right? And all those three players and even players I haven't even said, who do you opt? Like, is it Cam Reddish? Is it Ben Simmons? Is it Karis LeVert? Or is it somebody I haven't even mentioned?
I would preferably like to go for a cheap wing in like free agency. There's also the fact that I said we need to take it slow and be patient, but do we do what the Knicks did last year and bring in like salary fillers? You know how they brought in Nerlens Noel, they gave him like 10 mil, Alec Burks 10 mil, this and that. They gave like 4 players 10 mil and stuff like that. People will say, well, the Knicks aren't doing too great now, which is true. But at any point, the Knicks could legitimately trade for like a star because they have so many of these contracts to match up to get a star. And it makes me wonder because the Cavs, that's an issue we have right now. Kevin Love's on 30 mil. Rubio's on 17 mil, but he's expiring. Markin's on 17 mil. But other than that, we don't really have any other contracts to match up with anyone. Like Osman's on 7 mil and Windler's on 4 mil. And then the other players are like, we want to keep. And then there's the other players that we don't mind trading are kind of on the minimum and stuff like that. So do we go out and get a salary filler? That's a question. I think, one of those guys that, I think a guy like Bogdan Bogdanovic on the Hawks, someone like going out and getting someone like him, I think in free agency would be good. I know he's not a free agent, but one of them, maybe Dante DiVincenzo, he could be an option. I've spoken about him before. He's definitely has the capabilities of guarding 1 through 3. Really good defender. He'll be looking for some money in free agency. I don't think the Bucks are super keen on bringing him back. He could be a guy that not only fits our team, but also is a salary filler guy that we could legitimately trade anytime. And he'd have a lot of interest, I think, from other teams eventually too. But yeah, I don't really know. Out of the 3 names you mentioned, I think Cam Reddish is I still like him, but when we're developing Isaac Okoro, how much is Cam Reddish like? How much do we need him now? That's the question I have. And if we go out and get Ben Simmons, how much do we have to give up for Ben Simmons?
Yeah.
There's a lot of ifs and buts, to be honest.
Yeah. I agree with your take on Ben Simmons because that's kind of another reason why I'm kind of hesitant with even trading for him because realistically, like by default, we will have to give up Colin Sexton. Like for a lot of people, and for the people who say, I'm not giving up Colin Sexton for Ben Simmons, then I would have to ask you, who are you giving up then? Because then that means you either got to give up DG, you got to give up Evan Mobley, you got to give up Jared. You got to give up somebody from that core because they already stated they want a talent. They want an all-star caliber player and picks potentially. So you're going to have to pay that price. So, and I don't think the Cleveland Cavaliers is in a situation where we need Ben Simmons because I feel like even if we did trade that price for Ben Simmons, we would still have to make moves to accommodate him. So let's say hypothetically we do trade Lauri Markkanen and Colin Sexton for Ben, right? I do not like our team on paper with Ben Simmons, DG, Evan Mobley, and Jared because I do not have faith in the shooting to accommodate Ben Simmons, especially if he's not going to shoot the ball, right? Which is only going to put more pressure and stress on DG, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen to be on every single night, right? And if we make it to the playoffs, it's going to be even worse because you have a coach that can literally strategize for 7 games with that one team, and it gets worse because now that's where you start seeing the zones come out more. You start seeing the hedges. You start seeing the traps. You start seeing all that where Ben Simmons is basically being exploited because he's just not going to shoot the ball. He's just not aggressive. So I don't know. Because like I said, Ben Simmons could be practicing on that jumper as we speak since he's not playing. But as of what we've seen for the past couple of years, I don't know if Ben Simmons is truly the best player for the Cavs. I think Ben is going to be special on the team he gets traded to. I just don't think it's going to be the Cavs.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, and it's also the the tendencies of teams to foul him in the fourth quarter. Like that happens too much, and he just can't. I mean, if he could shoot free throws, I feel like he would be a much more like even just one simple thing, hitting free throws would make him a 10 times more dangerous offensive player. But even that, he just man, he just I don't get his deal. I don't know what he's actually doing anymore, but
That's Atlantis with that money.